In this lesson, you are going to create a piece of type or piece of text that has a cool plastic effect to it. So we need to start by creating a new file in Photoshop. The name of this is going to be period number, underscore your last name, underscore plastic type. The size is going to be 640 pixels by 480 pixels. And make sure that over here on the right that this drop down says pixels and not inches or something else. We're going to let the resolution be 72 pixels per inch, and we're going to leave the background contents on white and click OK. Now, I know we said background contents on white, but we actually want our background to be black. So I'm going to choose my default colors, which I can click on here, and I'm going to make sure that the foreground color is black. I'm going to use my paint bucket tool, which is docked under the gradient tool, and fill it with black. Then, a little keyboard shortcut. If I hit X on my keyboard, notice how my background color and my foreground color swaps. I want my foreground color now to be white, and I'm going to get my type tool. I want you to choose Cooper Standard, black, and I want you to write the word plastic, and it should be white. My font size is 150, and I think that's perfect for what we're doing here. It kind of fills the space that we need. Now, we are going to actually give this text a different color than white, but we make the text color white, and we're going to use our layer styles to give it a different color and give it the plastic effect. So in order to get the layer style menu, we double click over here to the right side of this layer, and then we get the layer style pop-up. The layer style that we are going to choose is going to be color overlay. So you need to check it, and then you need to have it highlighted, because you can have it checked but then be on a different one. So make sure that you are actually checked and you have it highlighted. Now, the default color is red, which we are going to change. We're going to use a blue color for this, and so I'm going to go and click on my color picker right up there. And I am going to type in some codes here. I want you to realize that RGB stands for red, green, blue. And down here, the pound sign or hashtag is a hexadecimal code. These are the two color things that we're going to use most in Photoshop. Occasionally we may use CMYK, but most of our stuff here will be for web. So we're going to use one of these two color modes. So if we type or click on the R for RGB, we can type in 88, 211, and 252, and we get a shade of blue. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and it pops up here, and all it did was change the appearance of the text. Okay, it looks like it's a different color. Now, I want you to know though that we haven't really changed the color of the text, even though it appears to be blue. Technically, the text is still white. We've simply overlaid a new color onto it using the color overlay layer style. If we were to turn off the layer styles, we would see that it's still white. Okay, now while our layer style is still open, we're also going to add an inner glow. And again, make sure that you have it selected with blue so that we see the properties up here that we're going to change. Now you may notice kind of a little outline, the little glow around here. That's what we're going to alter. We are going to change the structure of this. It starts off in screen. We're going to change it to multiply. And you can already see how different it looks. The opacity will be 50%. And instead of it being yellow that gives it the glow, we're going to change this color to black. And if we simply type in 3 zeros down here in the hex, that gives us black. Now, the reason we're doing black is because we actually want it to look more like a shadow than a glow. But whenever we choose shadows, they're directional, so we're going about it a different way here. Down here in the elements, we're going to choose edge, if it's not already selected on yours, 0%, and then 13 pixels. Okay, now you can see the soft edges around that. With the layer styles open, now we're going to apply the bevel and emboss. Now, we have to change some settings here in the center. And here in the center, we have some different contours. So we have to click on the arrow, and there's some contours that are already available. And if you hover over it, it tells you what the name of them is. The one we use isn't yet loaded, so we're going to have to click here, and then down here at the bottom, we're going to choose contours, and then we're going to click append so that it adds to our list that's already there instead of replacing it. Okay, and then we're going to choose, instead of seeing the thumbnail, we're going to choose large list so that we see the thumbnail and the name of it, what it's called. The one we're looking for is called the ring triple. And there it is right here. Okay, so when you click on it, or actually double click on it to apply it, and then once we do that, we can set the rest of the bevel and emboss options. So up here in the structure, we have inner bevel, smooth. The depth of it is going to be 131%. The direction is up. The size is 18 pixels. And soften is 0. Now, back here down for the shading, we have 120 degrees. We're going to make sure that the Use Global Light is checked, and then the one underneath it is going to be 60 degrees. And you should see some changes here already. We're going to check the anti-aliased box. The highlight mode is going to be screen, and the color is white. And the opacity is going to be 100%. And then the shadow mode is going to be multiply. The color is black, and the opacity is going to be 0%. Now, if you had chosen a different font than what we did here, we might have to adjust some of these numbers to make it look a little bit different. So just know that if you try this on your own at some time, you might have to adjust the size or the depth or something else. Okay. Next step we're going to do is to apply the contour that is underneath the bevel and emboss. So we're going to check that and sit on that part there. And you're going to notice that there is another contour option. For this one, we want to use the Shallow Slope Valley. And I'm not sure where that is on this list. Shallow Slope Valley, right there. Okay, so I apply that by double clicking on it, and then I might want to use my slider and kind of adjust it and see what looks best for this. And actually on this, I'm thinking right here around 40 looks the best, but let me try. Oh, no, maybe 6. It's tough. Some letters look better down a little bit further and some look better up a little bit further. I'm going to go ahead and leave this right at 60%, and because I think that has the best effect on most of the letters. Then I'm going to go ahead and click OK on it, and I want to duplicate the text layer so that I have two of them. I can do that in a couple of different ways. I can drag this layer down to the new layer icon, or I can use a keyboard shortcut, Command J, and that duplicates it as well as the layer style on that. Okay. Now what I can do is click on the original text layer to select it, because we want to work on the original layer, not the duplicate. And what I want to do is add a stroke to the text. So I'm going to double click to get the layer style again. And you are going to notice that there is a stroke option here. So click on that to select it. And we want to increase the size of it to 6 pixels. We want it to be outside, normal, and 100%. And right now the color is black, so we can't actually see it with that black background. What we want to do is we want to click and we want to come over here to the letters and try to sample a color that's kind of midway between the lightest and the darkest. So I am going to go maybe a little darker, maybe, yeah, that's about right. Okay, so you might have to click a couple of places to find what you want and click OK on it. And I actually, now that I see that, I think that 6 pixels for the stroke is a little bit too much for this particular font. I'm going to reduce it. I'm going to reduce it to 4. And then we're going to go in and we're going to change something on the bevel and emboss. So I'm going to come back up here, and up here in the style, remember originally we left it at inner bevel. If we hold it down though, there's an option to change it to stroke emboss. So I'm going to change it to that, and then I'm going to change my glass contour to shallow slope valley. And then I'm going to change the shadow mode opacity to 40%. Then I'm going to go back up to the top and lower the depth to 41% and increase the size to 24 pixels. Now, you notice that I'm typing in numbers instead of using the slider. I just feel like I get to my desired number better when I do that. Okay, so now I'm looking at it, and I think I'm going to go back to my stroke and take it down one more to number 3. I think that one actually looks the best for this. And once you get that done, you can click OK, and you have a desired plastic effect on your text. We can use the crop tool to reduce the size of the canvas so that we can fit just the text on there like that. Remember that you need to save it as a Photoshop file first so that you can go back and edit, and then as a JPEG file for uploading to your Google Sites.